Just when you think you've seen enough sub 250G DJI Tiny whoops, here comes another one. Guys, welcome back to the Drone Camps channel, where we're not advertising products, we're actually reviewing products. This is not for advertising purposes. This is for me to give you my opinion on this product. I got this product free from GepRc, and I'm going to compare it to the other sub 250G drones that are similar to this one with the DJI O3 on board. This one's running 2S today. And I have to say, one of my counterparts got caught basically saying that his video was good for advertising. Now, not on this particular drone, but another one we were talking about last week, and I'm sure some of you guys saw that quote-unquote drama. But honestly, it wasn't about drama. It was about stepping in front of the line in front of the other reviewers out there, and as a common courtesy to everyone in the FPV community that reviews drones, especially GepRc, we shouldn't step on each other's toes. Am I right? So today we're going to check out this little Darkstar 20 from GepRc, and I took my time on this review. I've recently reviewed the other kind of competitor to this one, the Beta FPV Pavo 20. They both have 2-inch props. This one has 4 bladed props on here, and that is a little bit of kind of nod to cinema. So we're going 2S, 4 blade props for inverted motors, a DJI O3 with dual antennas coming off the back, and this one has sort of a kind of a different style frame on here, if you will, in comparison to some of the other ones with the carbon injection molded plastic difference here. So this one is sort of a, I would say it's likely some kind of hard plastic frame. It looks like an injection molded plastic frame. So we have plastic on plastic here instead of a typical carbon injection molded plastic type of frame setup. So this one's run a little bit different. I'm going to talk about some of the difference as far as the cage for the battery, space for receiver, the internal parts, and as well as the flight controller and the motor power system and all that good stuff. And I'm going to let you know in the end of this review after the flight test what this one's all about, what my average kind of thoughts are on this one, and should you buy it or not. Quite honestly, and not an advertisement, but an actual review. You will never see me quote that my reviews are good for advertising. That's not what this channel is about. Let's go ahead and get to the flying.
Why do they talk like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they walk like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they act like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they rap like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Change don't change like it used to. Who runs the roost round here? The coop's gone clear. Got the heart from the bass to the snares, but the word is what's keeping them here. Word to my peers, the work don't stop till the top. Think it's resting, but we're not. I spread the message and it's love. I get the S and the P and the R from above. I see them restless with the keys and the palm for the bump. A bit of grinding up the herb is what I'm on. Shouts go out to mums. This one is the icy one. Go get the long johns. 50 Pret in London, if it's on then I'm on. I know they feel it when I spit, it's like the Missy song. Shut your noise, silence when I run the voice. In your ears, open your mind. Why do they talk like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they walk like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they act like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they rap like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Tell your favorite rapper that I'm here, not to clash, I'm gon' collab a lot this year. Maxing out the bang, don't need no gloves or masks for that. I got this yapper era, geezer with the tracks they want to hear. Been this way for years, still they sending messages in bottles. Was this really meant or was it not for? Can't connect the dots, I got this smelly in my pocket, I forgot yo. Strictly high grade and that's the motto, unless the plug is awful. Don't do OZs, not the other lab, been left alone to be my own steez. Now they clock on, race to the bottom. I see it all, I know my options. Never gonna stop unless I often. Not Billy and Mandy, you're dealing with me and the beast, a different beast. Not feeling the average, I come with the elegant steez and do as I please. I am a mountain to a molehill, highlight of the show reel. Love me cause I'm so real. Gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters. Why do they walk like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they act like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they rap like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters?
All right, guys, welcome back from that advertisement. That flight test. This is the box that you get. Inside the box, you get some brand new GepRc stickers, their Facebook and YouTube link, some extra hardware, a 1mm, a 2mm, and a Phillips head screwdriver in there, as well as a support card and extra hardware. The Darkstar weighs in at 89.3 grams without a battery. And with a 2S 450 milliamp battery, it weighs in at around 117.9 grams. The Beta FPV Pavo20 weighs in at 87.5 grams. With a 3S 450 battery, it weighs in at 128 grams. And the Pavo is really light. It is a nice 2S 450 milliamp type of quad that can do cinema. It can do mild freestyle. I would have to say freestyle is not its best attribute because it did have some bottoming out, and I did crash on some of the loops that I tried to perform with this quad. So the 2S power on this motor system is not really kind of what I'm looking for, me personally. Now, if you're trying to get cinema videos and things like that, it's pretty fast on 2S 450, but it just doesn't have that extra high end of the throttle that we're looking for the aerobatic type maneuvers. Now, if you want something that's going to be aerobatic, you definitely want to check out the Flylens 85 or the Beta FPV Pavo20. That's going to be your best all-arounders, and this one seems to be more geared towards cinema. And it does have a better tune than the Pavo20 on here. It flies smoother and it does what it's made to do. I don't have any type of dampening on the camera here, but we do have some dampening on the Taker F4 flight controller. We also have 12 amp ESCs on that new flight controller. And the brushless motors on here are 1102 10,000 kV motors. And the Darkstar 20 has a 90mm frame on here, and it is injection molded plastic, which from GepRc is usually pretty durable and pretty nice. On the top part of the frame, the same thing. It's also injection molded plastic with a GepRc logo at the very front, and it cases in the O3 non-decased version pretty well. Underneath, we have a 450 milliamp battery cage, which you could cut off with snips and use a strap if you want to. That's probably what I would suggest. If you want to run something larger like a 550 milliamp battery or a 650 milliamp battery, that's probably the largest I would go on this quad. Now, don't get me wrong, the Darkstar 20 does everything that I expected it to do. I didn't expect it to be a wild freestyler. I expected it to be similar to something like the Pavo Pico or the Pavo 20, but since they made the Pavo 20 3S, that one seems to have a better freestyle characteristic. So on this one, we're gonna get very, very, very light freestyle. I mean, meaning like flips and rolls and things like that. If you do something like that, you're fine. If you start to try to do something like a split S over a tree and back under, that's where I found myself really going full throttle, but still hitting the ground on that return bottom part of the loop. Now, as far as cinema goes, it does exactly what I thought that the Darkstar 20 would do out of the box. It is a Cinema Pro. If you wanted to take this one on some kind of a real estate job, or you wanted to do a club fly-through, things like that, you're not going to have that extra end of high throttle that's going to put you in the ceiling accidentally. And a very smooth tune on here with the Taker F411 flight controller, that's the kind of flying that you want to do in a very controlled type of indoor environment if you're looking to do pro video. And yeah, it's pretty much made for cinema. It's not a freestyler similar to the Pavo 20. It can't do kind of S-bends. I mean, I was even doing a Matty flip with the Pavo 20, which is pretty impressive for freestyle. So again, you know, these reviews are not advertisements. They are actually comparisons, insights, and my opinion and my experiences with each product that we review on the channel. And I did get them for free. I have affiliate links, of course. I'm not a sellout for that reason to have an affiliate link. All of the reviewers do. And the best way to find out if you like something is actually just buy it yourself and fly it yourself. But I am here to give you some insight on what the differences are of these products, and that's why people watch our channel, and that's why they watch our reviews. I will give you an honest opinion on that. Now, yeah, the Pavo 20, it's an excellent freestyler. I compared it to the Flylens 85, and the Flylens 85 is lighter, and I don't know which one's faster yet. I'll have to compare those coming up on the channel as well, but for now, this one is definitely going to be a better high-end throttle freestyler. It can even do Matty flips, which is pretty impressive for a sub 250G Tiny Whoop with DJI O3 on board. Now this one is decased, so it lightened it up quite a bit. You could do the same thing to the Darkstar 20, and maybe you will get there and be able to do some power loops with the Darkstar 20 on 2S. But 2S and a 3S type of Tiny Whoop with HD on board, there's a big difference in the power here for both of these. So you can take that with a grain of salt, but that is my experience with both of these so far. Some very key differences are the frame design and the size of these. There are the 20 versions, and you can also get the 1.6 version. So it just depends on how light you want to go with your HD setup these days. It's kind of amazing that we have these sub 250G Tiny Whoops with HD on board. I love it. You can also make it analog if you want to. Fly analog, you can fly it with the HD 0, you can fly it with WASP, you can fly it with Walksnail Avatar and Cadex. So there's a variety of options for it. And I told Diego the other day that this was the Tiny Whoop that I wish I had 5 years ago. They're finally here. HD Whoops are so much fun, and I love all the variations that all these companies are bringing to the table here with these. I mean, I figured that Gep might come to the table with some kind of fancy carbon frame with a little bit of microgroms up here to kind of give us some maybe some little bit of dampening for this camera, but what they did was this injection molded frame, and you can kind of see that they do have some little parts where you can see where there's kind of a divot right there, and that's a telltale sign of an injection molding. So this is a more expensive produced type of frame. It was well thought out, designed. It has extra ribs in here as well, and even these vertical ones that come up to the top to support the cage where the camera is and where the O3 unit is. So there's no carbon in this one, and we can release the prop guards from this as well, which is cool. So they thought about a lot of stuff with the Darkstar 20. Now these are the other alternatives, and they also used carbon injection molded combo here. So we have injection molded plastic with carbon fiber unibody style frames, and both of these also have front to back braces. This is the Pico 1.6 inch quad, and this one's the Pavo 20. So both of these Beta FPV designs, it looks like they just went a little bit bigger on the Pavo 20 design, kept the same type of carbon frame, just made it a little bigger with 1103 motors on there and 3S and a 2S configuration. It's just a lot of fun, all the variations that we're seeing with these little HD whoops. So at the end of the day, yes, Darkstar 20 is definitely a cinema quad. It does great lines. It is very smooth, and I would definitely say there's going to be a toss-up between the Pavo Pico, which I thought flew so true and so nice and really well around the house indoors. If you're using this for like a professional application, it's absolutely what you're looking for as far as a sub 250G HD drone with 4K on there. It is definitely a better cinema drone indoors than what I flew with the Pavo 20. The Pavo 20 is on 3S. And the problem with flying 3S indoors is that you have a little bit of extra throttle when you're making your lines, and just that little bit of extra throttle as you're pushing it up and down will make you bump into things as you're going through ultra tight gaps, and that is definitely a thing. Now I wish that the Darkstar had incorporated some kind of a carbon fiber frame like I see with the Pavo 20. I just like that look, and that's just a personal preference. I like the carbon and injection molded plastic look. This one came with no carbon at all on this frame, but they braced it pretty well on the bottom part, and even some vertical bracing up to the DJI camera and the mount here for the O3. So I think, again, it was pretty well thought out, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is a cinema drone. This is strictly for doing cinema and not so much for freestyle. But that's my experience with it in comparison to the others out there. I think it's a little slower than the Mobula 8. And if you guys are looking for something that's kind of more mild and easygoing, this is definitely going to get you a nice flight time on a 2S 450 around 5 minutes. I think that this one's a great pick for that. So slow, reliable, and you're most likely not going to break stuff on this one. And it doesn't have LEDs on there, which I would figure that they might have brought to this one. So if you want more power and you want freestyle, you want a cinema also, you can get the Pavo 20. But if you want to just go pure cinema as a backup drone for real estate or other professional jobs, this little guy, the Darkstar, is definitely where it's at. So it is not an advertisement. Like I say, we're true to the game, and I appreciate you guys watching the channel. For some insight and opinion on which one to get, there's so many of these tiny whoops out there that are sub 250G with DJI O3 on board nowadays. It almost makes your head spin. It's kind of cool though. So I'm happy to see that trend continue. And if you guys want to continue watching the channel and subscribe, be sure to watch, because there's going to be a shootout coming up with all of these. And at this point, I've flown them all. And yeah, I have honest opinions on all of them. And it's not an advertisement. It's just my opinion and insight for you to take home. So I promise you, if you get one, you fly it yourself, make a comment on this video, and you'll find that a lot of my opinions and experiences will be similar to yours. And a lot of people have thanked me later when they bought something and they say, oh, you're right. It's definitely the cat's meow here. It's really good. So I've been putting my solid opinion out there for almost 10 years now, and I want to say thanks again for the support this week and always in this community, and I do value you very much for watching this channel. So you can check out our link down below, and I'll try to get you a coupon for one of these if you want to grab one. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'm Justin Davis, and I will see you on the next one.